All right. Things are a little bit messy here. Kind of tired and just kind of waking up. But I had an idea for a video about footwork, and I wanted to get it on video before I forgot. So, Jay Moss and a few other people were talking about the difference between footwork and that we usually do in a salon, or we do on nice, stable, flat ground, and the footwork that we do in the outdoors where it's muddy and things like that. So there's a bunch of things that change, and there's a big difference actually. There's a lot of little subtleties that come in when you want to do your footwork artfully, not just simply. You don't just step a little bit shorter, and you do. You don't just stand a little bit wider, but you do. There are other things that come into play. One of those things is that when you step with a secure foot. There's at no time where you want to have where both feet are going to be ungrounded. They're not going to be. You're not going to move with both of your feet off the ground. So let me show you what I mean. All right. So normal walking, right? Hemofencing, we're doing this, right? See this? So here, my foot is coming off the ground and my back foot is coming off the ground, and I'm sort of shuffling forward. That's nice and quick. We like that. Step, if I pass passing step, right? You notice that this foot is coming over here and this foot is coming behind it for a triangle step. That gets a little bit tricky when you're when you're out and the unstable and insecure and you need, if the ground is wet or it's muddy or unstable for any reason, you really want to be doing this, right? Which is, I'm here, I'm transferring my weight here, releasing the weight here, and I come over here. That's how you end up doing that. You can't really bounce over here and do your quick step this way. You need to make sure that at least one foot is in a stable position at all times. You also can't do that. Your foot can't. You can't bounce at all. The reason you can't bounce at all is because when you bounce, come up, and even though that this back foot is planted, as you come down, you can't be sure that your landing foot is going to be is going to let your landing foot is going to land stable, especially if you go anywhere past your like where your knee can't be at a nice 90-degree angle. So what you do instead is that. Right? So your foot just comes barely off the ground. You're feeling the ground. If I get here, and I feel the terrain is no longer stable, I simply stop. Right? So I do. Right? So if you look at it this way, look at it this way. It's not quite like the sliding feet that Japanese use, like in there. It's more like your toes. Get the toes. The toes are doing this. I lift my toes, slide my feet, drop my toes. Okay? So whenever your foot is hitting the ground, your toes are gripping the ground. Lift toes, toes are gripping the ground. Toes come up, foot moves, foot hits the ground, toes grip the ground. Always, right? And the reason for that is because that is what's going to give you your stable base from through to your center of gravity. It's going to give you your best connection. Also gives you a better connection to your hands, but that's different. That's another video. So we'll look at up. So if you look at this way, we can also do things like this, where we're on this foot. We can cross step here. Notice that I don't cross step like this, so that it shifts my center of gravity. I stay here, I cross step to here, and then I can cross step. I can, if my foot is here and I want to triangle step, I'm going to triangle step with my right foot forward. Get here, my toes are pointed at my opponent, inward, in this sort of triangled foot pattern. And then as this, I release my right foot and allow my body to shift onto my left foot. Okay? So we don't want to be turning our foot. We don't want our grounding foot to be turning while our moving foot is not grounded. We want that grounding foot to stay grounded. I think that's the biggest thing that you need to understand. You don't. If I'm going to make a passing step here, I don't want to move this foot and then have to shift this back foot. I want this back foot to be in the position that it's going to stay at, ground me so that I can move in all the different positions and different ways that it can. Stabilize on this foot and then be able to make my step. Okay? Cool.